Hello everyone, welcome back to another Paint With Me and My Cat Sketchbook. I am so happy that you're here spending time with me, and I hope that you've grabbed your sketchbook, or maybe later you'll come back and rewatch this video and sketch with me or paint with me later on. Today I'm going to be talking about my struggle with my professional career and my artistic career, and what I've slowly been trying to accept in myself, but also work towards in the new year. If you don't know, and if you haven't checked out my website at all, in my About Me section, I do mention that I went to college 4 years ago. I graduated in 2020 with a bachelor's degree in wildlife conservation. So natural resources, concentration, and wildlife conservation. And my initial goal when I first started college was to get into the veterinarian program. Like, I wanted to be a vet, and I was very determined to be a vet. And then I started school and I got very discouraged. I let other people discourage me. I wasn't super focused in school. I was also working part-time during that time and commuting to school almost every day, and I got really discouraged with my grades and by teachers and professionals in the field, and I decided that I was going to pivot to another field of study that also works with animals, because I honestly wanted to work with animals in any capacity that I could, and I wanted to make a difference in the world as well when working with animals and make a difference in their lives. So I graduated in 2020 with a bachelor's degree in natural resources and wildlife conservation, and during that time I was in college, I also was kind of dabbling into art, so teaching myself different things, started my YouTube, and also started my Instagram account separate from my personal one, so I could solely just share my artwork and follow the artists that I really admired during that time. A lot of those artists now don't really make YouTube videos, but I still follow them on Instagram, and sometimes I even subscribe to their Patreon because I just want to know what's going on in their lives too. And during that time, I definitely struggled with focusing on my creative path and also my professional path with natural resources. And given the relationship that I'm in with my partner, we move a lot. So naturally, we end up moving, and I ended up working at a animal shelter because I couldn't find a job that was related to the field of study that I worked in, and most of the jobs that I could find or that were available were hours away commuting, or just wasn't something that I applied to and just never got the job. Basically, I applied, never heard anything back, never got anything, and it was very discouraging, very frustrating. I just kind of felt hopeless, so I kind of dove really deep into my art practice, and I started my YouTube, restarted my YouTube channel because I felt really discouraged about finding a job in the career field that I spent 4 years preparing for. I dove right into my art practice, and during that time I was kind of just making art that I thought people would want to see and that I enjoyed seeing from peers and people that I followed on Instagram and YouTube. So I had a very mixed style, had a lot of different interests, and I just kind of went for it. And because of that, I had a very slow momentum with my following on Instagram. It's still pretty low compared to my YouTube channel, which I felt like, I still feel that all the time that I spent kind of discovering what I wanted to do with my art, I could have maybe done better with growing my follower account maybe. But when I think back to it, I still didn't have the skill level to really be that popping on Instagram anyway. So you live and you learn. So I still think that my skill has much to be improved, but I do think I'm a lot better than I was 4 or 5 years ago. And I just wanted to paint portraits. I wanted to paint figures. I was very free, I feel like, with the way that I was drawing and the things that I was sharing, because Instagram community wasn't as big as it is now. And now I feel I feel like the pressure is on a little bit more. Like, I want to only show the best things, and sometimes I have to let that go. But as I continued on with my art journey and sharing it online and restarting my YouTube channel, the more I wanted to make being an artist something that could be full-time for me. And I wanted it to also match with what I went to school for. So I wanted to have that passion for animals and conservation and wildlife and nature in my artwork as well, because I still feel like that is an important part of my journey and something that really matters to me. Even if I don't have like a professional job in that field, I still want to be able to express those interests that I originally had when I was younger into my future artwork. So right now I've been really looking into like botanical art and illustration, and the main thing that I've noticed is that you really have to improve on your drawing skills. Like, drawing skills are like the number one thing, and I've always knew that, but I always thought that I can always fix my drawings with painting. And so far I've been somewhat successful with that, but I do realize that if I want to be an artist, possibly full-time, and make a full-time income from my art, I still need a lot of practicing. I still need to be able to capture likeness and not say it's just my style as to why I can't draw properly or proportionately, or that parts of my drawing skills are lacking, and I am aware of that. And it's very hard for me, I've noticed also that it's very hard for me to focus on just one specific learning task without it being in a very traditional school environment, because when I'm learning just online, I'm very all over the place. There's so many different things I want to learn, like botanical art, pet portraits, people portraits. I want an illustration style. I want all these things, and none of these things quite seem connected to me yet. But I feel like once I have a foundational good drawing skills, those three, botanical, portrait art, illustration, all of that will find a way to express itself in my art without looking completely different from each other. And so going forward into the new year, I am definitely been working on my online shop and my online store, but it's very important for me to also work on my art skills and my drawing skills, and also work on painting cats, because my overall goal is to be able to paint my own cats in a very beautiful style that I'm really proud of, because my cats are older and I want beautiful portraits of them that I've made and I can cherish with me once they pass. And I don't know, I've been thinking a lot about, and I know this sounds really sad, but I've been thinking a lot about like when my animals will pass, because they are seniors. And it's really sad. I work at a shelter, and we often get people coming in and they tell us that, their pets have passed away, and it's really sad, and they're, looking for a new companion. And I get like really emotional now when they tell me those stories, like almost to the point of crying. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, this is your grief. Like, I'm like bawling my eyes out because I'm thinking about like one of my own pets die. And it's very sad for me to think about. But I feel like I'll be even more upset if I never was able to paint them in a very artistic, beautiful way that I want to, that I imagine in my head. So that is what's motivating me right now, to paint as much as I can and practice as much as I can in my cat sketchbook. And I am very determined to finish this sketchbook by the end of this month. And I think it would be really cool to have like a January to December sketchbook. Even though I didn't really use the sketchbook the entire year, I think it would be really cool to kind of see a little bit of that progress shine through. So thank you so much for listening to my little ramble and rant about my career goals and figuring things out. I know I was a little bit disjointed. It's more just kind of casual talking between two friends. So thank you for being here, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye. Take care.